Hi all, let us begin with the sessions on wired LANs considering the Ethernet. So far we have studied and discussed about the Ethernet technologies like standard Ethernet and fast Ethernet. So now we will be taking care of gigabit Ethernet, which is of our major concern now. So now, as we know that the need for an higher and higher data has resulted in the design of this particular gigabit Ethernet protocol, whose data rate is 1000 Mbps. So the IEEE committee calls this with a standard labeled as 802.3Z. The major goals of this particular standard is one is basically to upgrade the data rate to 1 Gbps and then make this Ethernet compatible with standard or fast Ethernet, and then to use the same 48-bit address as we have seen in the fast Ethernet 2, as well as to make use of the same frame format which was available for standard and fast Ethernet, and then keep the same minimum and maximum frame lengths, and to support auto negotiation as it is already defined earlier with respect to the fast Ethernet. So now we need to discuss the topics with regard to the MAC sublayer, physical layer, and then the last Ethernet which is upcoming, which is 10 gigabit Ethernet. So in order to divide or to discuss about this 10 gigabit Ethernet, first let us cover up the sublayers or cover up the layers with respect to MAC sublayer. So what is that we need to consider about the MAC sublayer is, it is actually same as that which was already used in standard Ethernet. So this gigabit Ethernet has two different approaches with respect to accessing the medium. One is half duplex and one more is full duplex. So to access the medium we are making use of full duplex as well as half duplex. So half duplex is basically or rarely used in case of your gigabit Ethernet, whereas full duplex is almost always used. So when it comes for the full duplex, in this mode there is a central switch which is available, and this switch is connected to all the rest of the computers, or it is connected to all the rest of the switches which are available. And in this mode what we can see is each switch has a buffers for each input port, which means in which data are stored until they are transmitted. So buffer basically refers to storing of the data, or before it processes or before it accesses to a medium, it need to wait to get the channel. So that buffering capability is allowed in this particular switch. So there is nothing like, there is no collision which is going to happen in this particular mode, because we are going to make use of the switches separately for each computer connections, and this means that we no more need a CSMA CD, so it is not used. So lack of collision implies that the maximum length of the cable is determined by signal attenuation in the cable, so it is not by the collision detection process. So that is about the MAC layer. So and with respect to MAC layer, full duplex mode. So what else we can talk about this particular full duplex mode is, we can say that in full duplex mode of gigabit Ethernet there is no collision, and the maximum length of the cable is determined by the signal attenuation in the cable, which means both are interdependent, the maximum length as well as how much the signal is getting attenuated. So both of them are interdependent. So coming for half duplex mode, as already said, it is rarely used. Though it is rarely used, what we can do is we can replace a switch by a hub. So what is that, how does we do that, basically replacing a switch by a hub? So how does it act? So which acts as a common cable in which a collision might occur. So this hub is going to make use of a common cable. Whenever we talk of a hub is basically connected to a number of systems with each other or one another. So this hub is going to actually induce, or which is referring to have introduction or having been done with the signal collision process happening in whenever we replace a switch with that of a hub. So coming for the half duplex approach, it makes use of CSMA CD, but whereas we said that in full duplex mode we are not going to make use of CSMA CD. So coming for the maximum length, when we discussed about the minimum length, we said it is dependent purely on the signal attenuation, but when it comes for the maximum length of the network, in case of your half duplex, it is going to follow 3 different approaches, or it is totally dependent on the minimum frame size that is available. So what is this minimum frame size? So the minimum frame size has got 3 different methods again, which is traditional, carrier extension and frame bursting. So you can definitely go through what is traditional kind of methodology and what is carrier extension and what is frame bursting. So in short, if we want to say how this traditional method is helping us to find out the maximum length, so in this particular traditional approach, the minimum length of the frame or the traditional frame is always same as traditional Ethernet. So what is that minimum length? Minimum length is 512 bits, which we have already seen earlier for the standard Ethernet. So that remains the same, it is not going to change. Then coming for carrier extension, carrier extension allows for a longer network, or if I want to increase the capabilities, or if you want to add too many number of systems or stations in a network. So if you want to increase that particular network, then we can increase the minimum frame length. So this carrier extension approach defines the minimum length of the frame as 512 bytes, which is 4096 bits. Coming for the next topic, which is frame bursting. So carrier extension is very inefficient if we have a series of short frames to send. If I have very small chunk of data which I want to transmit, so then it is like extending the carrier is of no use. It is actually going to burden us to extend the carrier. So what we can do is, each frame we can within a single frame which is already been getting transmitted now, along with that it can carry redundant data. This is basically done to improve efficiency. So frame burst to improve the efficiency process, or to improve the efficiency of the system that is already available, we are going to make use of what is called as frame bursting. Now referring to the topologies of gigabit Ethernet, it is designed to connect 2 or more stations. If there are only 2 stations, there can be a point-to-point kind of connection. 3 or more stations, we can have the star topology being constructed as seen in figure B, like a switch is getting connected to 3 substations. And then another possible configuration is we can connect several star topologies, or let a star topology to be a part of another star topologies. So that is how it is done here in the particular thing. We have one single star topology, we have one more star topology, we are trying to connect both of them. So now here also there is a hierarchy of star topologies, and both of them are getting connected via one more switch. So that kind of topology implementation is also being done in case of the gigabit Ethernet implementation. So coming for the physical layer implementation of gigabit, it can be categorized as two wire or a 4 wire implementation. So we have 2 wire implementation, we also have a 4 wire implementation, like in our fast Ethernet which we have seen. So the 2 wire implementation is going to make use of the fiber cable, which is again 1000 base SX, which is short, which is also called as short wave fiber, and we have 1000 base LX, which is called as long wave fiber, and then we have one more version which is STP usage, which is we are going to call it as 1000 base CX, which is a copper cable which we are trying to make use of here, and then the 4 wire version which uses category 5 twisted pair. So category 5 UTP, which is we are going to label it as 1000 base T. So these in other words, if we want to say, we have 4 implementation, which is as shown here. And coming for this 1000 base T, this 1000 base T was designed in response to already to those users who are installed with the fast Ethernet and are making use of that particular fast Ethernet for telephonic services. If they are making use of such kind of services, we have to make even the gigabit Ethernet compatible with that of the fast Ethernet. So in order to have that compatibility or auto negotiation property being implemented, we are having one more classification or implementation, which is 1000 base T. With respect to the implementation or how the encoding process is done in the standards or the classification of gigabit Ethernet that is done, what we can say is this gigabit Ethernet is now not going to make use of the Manchester coding or Manchester encoding or decoding process. Instead, it is going as this Manchester encoding involves very high bandwidth, so it is going for 2-wire implementation using a NRZ scheme. But this NRZ scheme, this particular scheme does not have a property of self synchronizing. So bits once transmitted are not getting actually synchronized at the bits that are received at the receiver end. So in order to provide the synchronicity, what is that we are doing is we are trying to involve the block codes. So these block codes are nothing but 8-bit or 10-bit block encoding processes, which is mainly meant for synchronizing of the bits. And then this block coding actually prevents long sequence generations. So it prevents the long sequence generation of zeros and ones in the stream, but this results in a streaming of 1.25 gigabits per second. So whereas you can see it is like we are trying to stream 8 into 125 megabits per second, we are trying to stream the data in megabits per second, but we are getting the output after the encoder block in terms of gigabits per second. So coming for the 4-wire implementation, it is not possible to have 2-wire for this particular implementation for input and 2 for output. So what we did is because each wire would need to carry 500 Mbps of data, which is again going to exceed the capacity for the category of UTP cables. So UTP cables are not fit to carry 500 Mbps of the data. So since it is going beyond that, what is that we are trying to do is we are trying to merge the things. We are trying to merge all the 4 wires, like all 4 wires are involved in both input. So you can see it is involved in all both input as well as at the output. So these 4 wires getting involved for at the transmitter as well as at the receiver, each wire carries up to a 250 Mbps of data, which is the range which this particular category 5 UTP cable is capable of supporting. So to support that, we are trying to make use of such a kind of configuration which is done for the 4-wire implementation. Then moving on for the next thing, that is the summary of the gigabit Ethernet. So in the summary of the gigabit Ethernet, you can see the type of the media that is used for 1000 base SX, 1000 base LX, 1000 base CX and 1000 base T. It is fiber and it is short wave, fiber and a long wave. Then STP here, category 5 UTP. So the number of wires used in the first 3 cases, it is 2, and only in the last case it is 4. And then coming for the maximum length that it can support is Sx is having a length of 550 meters, Lx is 5000 meters, and Cx is 25 meters, and the base T is having a length of 100 meters. And you can see the block encoding processes used is 8-bit or 10-bit block encoding process, and the line coding techniques used everywhere is NRZ, not written to 0. So the last process, which is in 1000 base T, we can see it is going to make use of 4D5 PAM. So the 4D5 PAM5 is nothing but it is a four-dimensional quinary symbols. What does this quinary symbol does is it is going to receive the data from the higher block encoding process, and then it is going to transmit those particular data which are already encoded into 5 voltage levels. So into 5 voltage levels. So 4 symbols are transmitted in parallel, each symbol period in parallel. So we are trying to transmit 4 symbols in parallel with each other, because we are, as we have seen in the connection, that it is going to be 4 transmitter inputs, or at the transmitter we have 4 inputs, at the receiver we have 4 outputs. So these inputs are going to get connected to the output. So we want to transmit those symbols in a periodic way. So for that particular case we are making use of 4D PAM5. So moving on to the 10 gigabit Ethernet. So this 10 gigabit Ethernet standard is referred with the standard name as 802.3ae. So the IEEE has labeled this as 802.3ae, and it has got some goals to be achieved. One is upgrading the data to 10 Gbps, and then make it compatible with standard, fast and gigabit Ethernet, and it has to make use of the same frame format, and it should have the same minimum and maximum length of the frame. The address should be 48 bits, and then it should allow interconnection between the existing LANs, like that is into a metropolitan area network as well as wide area network. So the LAN should be capable of getting connected to metropolitan area network or a wide area network. And one more extra responsibility of this particular design is to make Ethernet compatible with technologies such as frame relay or ATM, the other technologies which are there present in local area network connection. So coming for the MAC sub layer in your 10 gigabit Ethernet, it operates only in full duplex mode, which means there is no need for contention based mechanisms like CSMA CD, which is not used in your fast Ethernet or in your gigabit Ethernet. So it is not required even in 10 gigabit Ethernet. Then coming for the physical layer implementation. So the physical layer implementation for 10 gigabit Ethernet is defined for using fiber optic cables over long distances, and it is going to have 3 implementations which are given as below, which is 10G base S, 10G base L and 10G base E. So the medium, or what kind of media it is going to make use of, is short wave, and the length is going to be 850 nanometers, and the optical fiber is going to be multi-mode in nature. And then we are going to have 10G base L, which is long wave, 1310 nanometer single mode optical cable is being used. And then coming for 10G base E, E stands for extended, and then the length is going to be 1550 millimeter, which is going to make use of single mode kind of cable. And the maximum length of the cable can be of 300 meters. It can run up to 300 meters 10G base S, and then base L can run up to 10 kilometers, and then base E can go up to 40 kilometers. So that is about, if we want to summarize the whole context of your wired LAN Ethernet. So we have discussed about the very first case, what is wired LAN Ethernet, what are the different technologies that are available. Then we went for the classifications. We have looked for the MAC layer implementation of the standard Ethernet, physical layer implementation of the standard Ethernet, and on the similar lines for fast Ethernet, and then gigabit Ethernet, and then at the last we came across for the 10 gigabit Ethernet implementation. So hope you all enjoyed. Thank you.